Welcome back. This is episode 4 of our Limerence Q&A. In the last episode, we talked about the dreaded situationship trap. And for those of you who've been there, you know exactly what that feels like because it is one of the fastest and surest ways to end up deep in limerence because the uncertainty of the situationship never quite resolves. If you want to watch that episode, it's linked down below in the description. Today, I want to talk about another very common sentiment that I've seen expressed on this channel over and over again in the comments, in emails you've sent about it, explaining why this is the only way. Underneath your explanations is one core belief, and that belief is that you cannot possibly get over limerence unless you become limerent for someone else, meaning you have to jump from obsession to survive the withdrawal and the horrible crash of limerence. But underneath this common belief, there's actually a very real and practical question. And if we pull on that like a little ball of yarn, I think we'll reach a better conclusion. That question is, how do I do this? How do I get over one episode of limerence that has consumed me to the point where I don't know how to recover by myself? And how can I do this without falling into another episode of limerence for somebody else? So let's answer that question. I'm going to tell you very clearly right from the beginning of this video, replacing limerence with more limerence is truly a self-destructive way to process limerence. That being said, I understand why you're tempted to do it. I understand the temptation to get lost in another limerent episode because the problem with being limerent is that it's really hard to come down from it. You don't go from limerent to fine. Actually, you go from limerent to this heavy gray post-limerent haze and often depression. That is if you're lucky and you don't go through the withdrawal symptoms that are so common for limerence and that we've talked about in other episodes. If you want to learn more about that, go ahead and watch the 3-part withdrawal from limerence series that is linked down below. There are 3 of them and they are specifically on this topic. I know that a lot of you get to that silence of post-limerence and you think, this is clearly depression, or I cannot possibly live like this. I can't take this feeling of crawling out of my skin with pain and dread. I get that. I get that because I see it in your comments and I've heard it many times. And the natural thing to do is to want to reach for the fastest relief, which is another person, another fixation, preferably one of the same magnitude as the previous one. I know that many of you are not saying this consciously to yourself. Some of you have this thought just running in the background. We don't always consciously tell ourselves, I want to be bowled over by another episode of limerence, because we know in our minds, intellectually, we know that this is not a healthy way to cope with limerence, but it is essentially what you're teaching yourself, that this is the only option you have. That you can't make the transition from limerence to being okay by yourself. So you've concluded, understandably, and maybe unconsciously, that the only way you have is to replace the person. What I want you to really hear in this video is that it is absolutely not the only way to get past limerence. The many people who have gotten past it without replacing it with another person are evidence of that, and they're proof that you too can do it. In fact, doing this, replacing limerence with more limerence, is actually one of the least healthy and useful ways to cope. One reason is that connections that start with one-sided limerence have such a low degree of success in the first place. Yes, it can work out sometimes, and we've talked about that before, but more often than not, it doesn't. Especially so if only one person is limerent. And the reason for that is, well, there are various reasons that we've discussed on this channel and we will continue discussing. But one of the very important ones is because limerence literally throws you at the mercy of another person. That's what it does. It puts your nervous system, your mood, your self-respect right into somebody else's hands. And many of you will understand this intimately because you'll know the feeling of being at the mercy of another person. And knowing that your heart is in somebody else's hands. And we have to stop here and talk about this romanticized concept of giving your heart to somebody else in love. It's a concept that is all over the place in movies, in shows, on social media, this idea of giving ourselves in love in service to somebody else. Until we actually do this, until we feel this way in practical ways, and then it's slightly less romantic, because it doesn't actually feel great, does it? It doesn't feel great to feel so out of control and so vulnerable that someone else has control of your moods and your thoughts. If you're lucky enough to be limerent over a good-hearted person who perhaps is equally limerent or at least in love with you, what luck. But otherwise, you are putting yourself at the mercy of being maneuvered around like a marionette by a person of whatever kind of character. And I know that this is not a conscious choice you're making, but it is in many cases what ends up happening. So when you solve limerence by starting a new episode of Limerence, you're not solving very much. What you're doing by slipping into another episode of Limerence is you're volunteering for another round of the same kind of power imbalance. Which is not to say that power imbalance never works out. There is a place for it, but in Limerence, it seldom does. So the way to get over Limerence is patience. It's patience with yourself, patience with your bad feelings, and patience with sitting with those feelings without having to act on them right there in the moment. And you do that repeatedly until you have distanced yourself from your LO, from the limerent object, this person, long enough that you can actually start to have a really clear idea of how you feel away from them. Because the latter part of limerence, the withdrawal of limerence, can be quite awful. It can feel like you not wanting to get out of bed, like you can't function, like you don't want to go to work, you don't want to do normal everyday activities. And it can be quite stressful and intolerable. So I don't want to minimize that, knowing that this is what it feels like and it's what many of you go through. All I'm saying is that you can find ways to work through that gently and non-violently with yourself by sitting with your feelings, by allowing your feelings to be there without treating them like something that needs to be solved right away. There's always tomorrow. And when you get to tomorrow, your instinct is going to want to solve those feelings again. But instead, try to sit with them for one more day. Because the existence of these feelings doesn't mean the end. It just means that you're coming down from a really bad high. And I promise you that the psychological strength and the emotional strength that you gain from learning to live through that come down, to live through that experience without throwing yourself at the mercy of another person, is unmatched. You don't want to skip past that. I know some of you want to hear that you can skip it, that you can skip the sadness and the bad feelings and the part where you have to accept this is a situation that is bad for me emotionally and psychologically, and I just need to get out of it. Can you technically skip past that? Yes. Technically, you can. You can go to a bar, you can go back on the apps, you can pick up a new person that fits the limerent profile that you tend to fall for, and you can go straight through to another episode of Limerence. You can. Of course you can, because you're an adult. And some of you have done exactly that, and I don't even blame you. All I'm proposing is that there is another viable way that is actually healthier long term, because the sadness and psychological difficulty that you go through at the end of limerence is a tremendous teacher. There are not many things in life that will teach you emotional resilience like this will. One of the hidden gifts of getting through limerence in this healthier way is that it teaches you a very important life skill that many people never get to learn. For many of us who've been deeply limerent, especially if it's happened more than once, we tend to struggle a lot with this lesson because we're used to living like our feelings are always in control of us. But doing this, you learn that you and your feelings are actually two separate things. That there is separation, there's space between what you feel and the rest of your actions, your direction, your choices. You are the one who decides what to do with those feelings. You can have grief in your entire body and you can let that grief flow out and through you. You can have cravings and longings and sit still, not obeying them. And once you learn that skill, you stop being a hostage to your emotional state. Feelings become an enriching part of your life again, not the thing that destroys your life. And that's what you're actually doing here. We're not trying to just get over this one particular person. We're trying to build that part of you that can come down from this kind of intensity and stand on your own and still function and still choose your own well-being. If you like this Q&A format, tell me in the comments. And if you have a particular question that you'd like answered, just fill out the form that I've linked to below in the description. It leads to my website where you can send me questions, and we'll keep going ahead with these. As always, take good care and be kind to yourself. Until next time.